Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Eaten by Zombies is a deck building game that I reviewed 11 years ago. 11 years! Wow, I did a written review of that on Board Game Geek. Here I am back to take a look at it and see how does it stack up as I'm going through some of the old games in my collection. So Eaten by Zombies is a deck builder where your goal is to stay alive and stay alive longer than the other players. The other players, if you're playing with more than two, will turn into zombies and then start attacking you also, although players can also make noise and send zombies your way when it's your turn to play. The whole game is just about surviving. You're going to make a choice each round to fight or flee depending on what cards you have in your hand, and if you're successful at that, you can buy new swag to make your deck stronger. If not, you will have attrition from your deck and lose cards that will go out to the main display, making your deck weaker. If you ever can't draw cards, it's kind of like your life points also, you will lose the game. The whole thing has a unique art look. It's like something from the 1950s-esque era, and it looks fantastic. Even the box itself comes like an ammo box type bat, which is going to be great for your shelf, but for presentation, it's going to work fantastically. The game looks phenomenal, whether you like it or not. Even though we all have the same starter cards, they all have unique artwork depending on what character you are. All the characters are the same. The only thing that's different is the artwork, and what a nice touch. Really great touch to this. The game itself is fun. You're building up your deck, but it's constantly being shredded to pieces as you're making these hard decisions on what cards you're going to keep and what are you going to add to your deck. What's going to make me stronger? You will have to fight sometimes. You will have to flee sometimes, depending on what cards you have in your hand. Sometimes that decision does play itself. You'll want to fight, but you only have flee cards, so guess what you're going to do? You're going to run away. And fleeing is not as good as fighting, so the cards themselves are going to play you at times. That's just the way it is, but that's how a lot of deck builders are, so I don't want to penalize this game for that. In a deck building game like Marvel Legendary, if you don't have a lot of attack, well, guess what? You're not attacking, you're going to be buying this round. But hopefully you'll have some control of your deck to do what you want it to do. In this game, normally it's going to be fight, not flee, although sometimes you will have to do that. As you're going through the game, you are going to have direct player interaction with other people as you're going to be playing zombies down. And sometimes you're going to want to leave some of those zombies there and maybe not attack because you want to leave them for your opponent, because at this point it's about surviving. I might get hurt, but you're going to get hurt worse, and that means I'm going to survive longer than you, and that's going to how you're going to be able to win this game. Great look. A lot of, it's not take that, it's decisions that will affect the other players. That works great. The game itself, a little bit too much player interaction for us, a little bit too much of that like Ponzi scheme, which I like. I'm just holding on by the skin of my teeth. That's how you want to feel in a zombie game. But I think I like zombie games a little bit more cooperative. I also like other deck building games. The Marvel Legendary is one of my favorite. I think I want a little bit more than just a deck building game. If you are looking for a deck building game in the zombie kind of universe or a zombie kind of theme, this is going to be something I'm going to tell you to go back and look at. While it doesn't fit our play styles and that's something that we want to keep coming back to, I don't like that Dominion style of getting cards. This one is going to pay off in spades for zombie fans. While it's a purge for us, I still think this game will work for a lot of people, and I'm a little surprised I've never seen it come back on the market. Here's Eaten by Zombies. It comes in a really cool case. It kind of looks like an ammo box. And inside you're going to get a zombie game. You have a look at the rule books, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get a deck of cards. There's room in here for extras if you want to play. Now, most of the cards are pretty good. I didn't have any problems with the quality of it. You can see the artwork on it. The font is a little small on these guys, but you can easily see the different. And there's some really cool pictures in here. These are the zombie ones that you'll be fighting off this game. They do repeat some, which was needless, really. But the quality of the cards are pretty good. They have a really nice finish to them, and they look great. You do get plenty of game in this box. So a lot of different items and things that you can buy. Think of Dominion, kind of. You're going to have a lot in this box. Here is the rule book. It's going to get beat up a little bit being in this box. It doesn't fit in there all that great. The rule book is actually not very good. It's very hard to kind of read, and it's kind of all over the place. You're going to have a starting deck and setup, and then how to play the game as you go through. It's got some pictures, and there's exceptions and etc. Some things are underlined to kind of help you out. I still feel like it was very confusing to learn how to play this game. I actually need some help with some videos to get through it. Some recommended setups if you want to go through that, etc. And then some credits on the back, no reference here. Not very good. I had a lot of trouble stumbling through this. You probably need 10 minutes to read through it, but you're going to read through it a couple times. Be very particular about the different words that are going on. And without examples and without pictures, it made it very difficult to learn. Every game, you're going to start out with the binoculars, the rifle, and the good book. And then you're going to put a number of these cards up that will be additional cards that you can purchase during the game. So these can become available as you're playing. You can also take the zombie deck based on the number of players. You take some of the cards out, etc. But you'll shuffle these up and you'll have your zombie deck. Then each player will get their player aid with their name on it. And on the back, it tells you what happens if you turn into a zombie. You'll have your deck of cards that you'll be playing with. You'll shuffle these up, and you'll deal 6 cards. What's going to happen each round is a zombie card will come out. The zombie card's going to tell you how much it costs to beat it and how much it costs to run from it. So let's show what would happen if each round a zombie card will come out. It'll show you here at the top how much it costs to fight it and defeat it. And then at the bottom, what they call the attrition rate, how much it would cost to flee from it. There's 2 things you can do on turn. You can fight or you can flee. So you're going to look at your cards and determine what you want to do. This has a fight of 1, which is fine. So I can play as many of my fight cards as I want to, or any cards that have draw. I just can't play flee only. So let's say I want to fight with 3 policemen. I would defeat this guy. He would go into my discard pile, not in a discard pile of the zombies, but my own discard pile. And I would have 3 to purchase. 1, 2, 3. So then I could purchase something. Let's say I wanted to get a box of ammo, which would go into my hand, not my discard pile. This would be discarded. And now I have 4 cards, and I would draw back up to 6. That's how fighting works. On a next turn, let's say it was this, and I want to flee. I don't have 6 in here to fight, so I would want to flee from this zombie. So the box of ammo, let's say I wanted to play that. I could draw 2 cards from the top of my deck, thus giving me more cards as I go. So let's say I want to flee. I could play my box of ammo and draw 2 cards. Then if I wanted to play my sandwich, I could draw additional card from the top of my deck. So this is coming from my deck. And then I have 1 flee. Let's say I want to play the rest of the fleas I have in my hand. I don't want to play the fights because I'm not fighting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with my sandwich. He only costs 2 to flee, so I've successfully flown from him. Because I've successfully fleed from him, I can then purchase a card. So I have a 6. Let's say I want to buy some old slabbers. That's going to go into my hand with the other cards in my hand. And then my turn would be over. These would go into my discard pile. Then I would have to get rid of cards equal to half the attrition value because I successfully fleed. So in this case, it's 2, so I'd have to get rid of 1 card. I could choose to get 1 card from my hand, or I could choose 1 card from the top of my deck. I cannot get rid of zombie cards unless it's the top card of my deck, which I know I don't have any cards in here that would be zombies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this card, and it becomes purchasable again up here. And then each round, 1 zombie that's there would fly around. Now, as the game progresses, after I go through this deck and all the cards have been utilized and discarded, then you'll start putting out additional cards. 2 for the second time you get through the deck, and then 3 the third time you get through the deck, and so on and so on. Let's say my opponent is playing and I have zombie cards in my hand. Remember, they go in your discard part and you draw them up. I can then add cards onto the row, always to the right, and make it more difficult because you want your opponents to die and be able to lose things. Now, in a case like this, if you were to fight and there's multiple zombies out, you always fight the first one first. So maybe I would do this to kill him. Then I wouldn't have enough left over to kill him. But this guy would die, and I'd only have to battle these guys. Now, keep in mind, if I'm not able to kill everyone, I cannot purchase new cards for the turn. And let's say I killed this guy, goes in my discard pile. So these guys are left over. I didn't have enough to kill these. I would lose cards equal to my attrition values. In this case, 4 plus 2 would need to have to come from the top of my deck or from the cards in my hand for the turn. That's what's going to happen if you fight but can't kill all of the zombies. The same will happen if you try to flee instead of fight, let's say that in this example, I would have tried to flee, playing other cards, I didn't have enough, I could flee from some, I would have to pay the attrition value either from the top of my deck or through my hand, and once again, they go up here to be purchasable again. And you can only purchase from the scavenge pile if you successfully flee from all the cards or successfully fight all of the cards. One would go on the bottom if I was unsuccessful, and these would stay out for my next person. Since it's the second round, 2 more cards would come out, making it more difficult for my opponent. And that's a quick overview of how you play Eaten by Zombies. It's not really a game that you win, it's a game that you survive. And what you're trying to do is last as long as you can. If at any point you draw your deck and you don't have enough to draw 6, and you always shuffle your discard pile if need be, then you'll automatically die and turn into a zombie also. So once you turn into a zombie, you'll be using the flip side of your player aid. What this is going to do is you're going to be adding cards to the zombie row, and there can never be more than 3 to the zombie row that you're adding. And based on what you add, the number on the card, something will happen. So if you play a 6, players now draw 6 cards on their turn. If you play it a 1, survivors must discard 2 swag cards from their hand before drawing at the end of their turn. So this will something you'll do on your turn, and you want the zombies to win and the humans to lose. And that's what you'll be trying to accomplish. Otherwise, you want to be the last man standing and eaten by zombies. Who should buy this game? This is strictly for zombie fans or deck building fans that want player interaction. It is in this game. You will be not necessarily attacking, but you're going to set up your buddies to possibly be eaten by zombies, and what could be more fun than that? This has a 1950s motif on it that works fantastic in this game. Some of the cards can be a little gory, but they are cartoon gore, and I think that plays for a wider audience instead of they had been realistic. This is going to be the zombie I need to survive in the apocalypse deck building game. Eaten by Zombies is the one I will tell you to check out, at least try it out. If you don't mind the heavy use of player interaction, this game is really going to speak to you.